What's happening, One Life? Ladies and gentlemen, I am getting excited about the Academy and Leadership Workshop coming up in just 1 week. If you have not made the commitment to be here in Meridian, Mississippi for one of these events, I highly encourage you to do that. If you make a decision not to attend, you'll definitely miss out. I apologize in advance if I sniffle, sneeze, or cough. Old man winter is throwing some curveballs here in Mississippi, and our wonderful fluctuating temperature is trying to get the best of me. The great news is it looks like it's going to be in the 70s for next Monday, Tuesday, and possibly even Wednesday. A little rain chance, but for you guys who are going to be in for the Academy or Leadership Workshop, if you're dealing with some colder temperatures, it looks like you get a little bit of sunshine and at least some warmer weather anyway. Our guest speaker this morning is Mr. Michael Camper-Kober. Camper is part of our recruiting staff, and he shares the One Life vision with potential new recruits and does a phenomenal job. One Life is a temporary stop for Camper as he is studying at Mississippi State University with his eyes set on seminary and entering the ministry. Camper is a stellar guy, and you'll get a chance to meet him if you attend either the Academy or Leadership Workshop here next week. So I'm going to unmute Camper's line and see if he is with us. Camper, you with us this morning?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Camper.
All right. Perfect. Well, thank you, David. Before I get started, just want to first of all say good morning, One Life America. All the agents and managers or whoever may be listening, wish you the best start to your week. And once again, thank you, David, for that kind introduction. But like I said, before we get started, I just want to preface this morning's devotional by first just saying how much of an honor it is to be here with you guys this morning, and to be involved with not only this devotion and this conference call, but really just be involved with this program and this opportunity and this organization and everything that we've got going on here at One Life. The fact is that we're here every Monday devoting our time to the Lord and growing with the Lord, but also devoting our time to growing as an agent and or as an office staff or whatever it may be. But is that we're devoting our time that every morning, and it speaks volumes to what it is that we stand for. I'm a recruiter, and honestly, the hardest part about my job is just getting people on the phone to talk with me. But once I do get them on the phone to talk with me, and they're looking for an opportunity, One Life is honestly, it's an easy sell. We've got a good thing going on here, and people are attracted to it, and they see what it is that we've got going on, what it is that we stand for, and the people that we've got representing us, and they just want to be a part of it. But I just want to say thank you to all of our managers, all of our agents, all of our office staff, all of our leadership. It's truly a blessing to be here. Now, those of you that may have heard me in the past know that I really like my sports analogies. I'm a big, avid sports fan. I always enjoy a good story about a life-changing event of a coach or a story of hard work or dedication by an athlete. Regardless, I'm a sucker for sports. So I guess growing up, I was involved with a lot of sports throughout my childhood. Growing up in Montana gave me a lot of luxuries or I guess opportunities, if you will, other than or that kids that grew up here in the South, they didn't necessarily have. For example, I played 13 years of ice hockey, and so I played winter sports. We'd spend a few weekends there at the local ski resort, or I guess even after school snowball fights that we had throughout the winter. So I played a couple years of organized basketball as a young kid. I played football. Tennis was something that I loved, that I came to love going through high school. No matter what it was, if competition was involved and victory was a possible something to possibly attain, then that I was down for it. I was interested. So with this came a recognition of those who were involved in their sports that I watched or participated in, those who were great. I'm speaking of obviously those who were the all-time greats, like the Jordan or the Bird, Elway, Montana, or Gretzky, if you're familiar with hockey, just to name a few. Chasing after these guys was something that I wanted to do, and in ways even today that I still want to do. But it's something that really helped define me and who I am today. And I guess applying that to our faith, first of all, we got to recognize who the greatest in reality, or the greatest person to ever walk the face of the earth is. And obviously, as believers, as self-proclaimed Christians, if you will, even being named after the guy, Jesus Christ was the greatest to ever walk the earth. So that's not the hard part. Colossians 1, Hebrews 4, Hebrews 1 as well. They all speak just to pick out a handful of my favorite passages about Jesus, but they all speak to Jesus, and they all speak, it's just the tip of the iceberg to show you how great Jesus is. Colossians 1 speaks of the preeminence of Christ, or the supremacy of Christ. It says that He is the image of the invisible God. He's the firstborn over all creation. By Him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible or invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through Him and for Him. And He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. So we could say that Jesus is the greatest to ever walk the face of the earth. So my question to you is, that's not the hard part, to recognize that Jesus is the greatest, but my question to you is, if Jesus is so great, how do we be like Him? How do we become like Him? What made Him so great? The Old Testament speaks of Him in the highest regard, saying that a king will come to redeem Israel and to conquer their enemies. So if Jesus is going to be the greatest, he's going to be born into a royal family. He's going to be born into royalty, right? Well, not exactly. He was actually born to an unmarried couple, which was shaming enough back in that day, even as it, some would consider it today as well, but even more so back then. I guess the family may not be royalty, but maybe he'll be born into, at least acceptable conditions, right? Well, not exactly. He was born in a manger, something that we would classify even lower than a barn, just a place where animals would feed, or I guess if you grew up on a farm and you know where animals feed, that's also where they do some other things as well. So obviously, if Jesus is the greatest, He couldn't be born there. So maybe He becomes great during His lifetime. Maybe He didn't start off so hot, but maybe He becomes great in His lifetime, and He assumes that royalty position throughout His life. Well, not exactly. At the age of 30, after working with his father as a carpenter, obviously not a great position as it is, but he leaves his father in the family business, and he goes out and lives on his own. He brings in a few guys that were the lowest of the low in that generation. They didn't become rabbis, or they didn't become teachers. They became fishermen. There was one tax collector, and all these other guys, and they were following him, and they were, some would consider them being homeless, but they would travel from community to community and interacting with people. They were storytellers, and they had all these people, but really nothing to brag about. So he didn't really become, great, if you will, or royalty or what have you, throughout his life. So, I guess, a few years go by, and all of a sudden he brings his disciples up to an upper room, and they start having this big feast together. And at the feast, he tells his disciples, he says, soon, I'll be crucified. Soon one will betray me, and I'll be handed over to the government, and one thing will lead to another, and I won't be here with you guys for too much longer. So at the Last Supper, he tells his disciples this, and what's going through their minds. They're saying, well, Jesus, he said He said he was the Messiah. He said he was the Redeemer. He's supposed to be the great one. But he's going to die tomorrow. What's going to happen? And so some are doubting, some are I guess they're saying, well, how is he going to show that he's the greatest? He's running out of time. So obviously he's supposed to come on the scene, and he can't die, right? There's nothing that the greatest can't do. So what's going to happen? And while they're in the chaos and confusion of going through this and all the thoughts and the confusion, Jesus he goes and he grabs a towel and during this he says, I guess he completely flips the system, and he says, listen, the greatest thing that you can do is become a servant. The first will be last and the last will be first. The greatest thing that you could do is wash your brother's feet. And he took them, and he took one by one, and he washed his brother's feet. A job for the lowest of the low, a job that wasn't even fit for the slaves, but for the slaves of the slaves, to wash a person's feet. And there's a lot of backstory to that, and that I won't dive into, but the theme of it remains the same, is that if we want to be great, if we want to truly be like Jesus, we must adopt a role of servanthood. We must adopt a role of one that puts others before us, and one that puts our needs behind others. It could apply to agents, it could apply to managers, it could apply to anybody in any role in our society. No matter what it is that you do, there's always a way that we could put others before us. There's always a way that we can serve others and symbolically wash their feet, if you will, put ourselves low and put others higher than us. If Jesus could do it, the greatest to ever walk the face of the earth, then we most certainly can as well. If you guys would give me just one more second, I'll go ahead and pray for us and hand it back over to David. Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for this day. Lord, thank you for bringing us here on this call, and whoever might be listening, Lord, or whoever would listen later. Lord, I pray for your wisdom to touch our hearts, and Lord, that we would just get an experience of you that would drive us to want more, Lord, and to want to become like you more, and do whatever it takes, even if it takes humility and service, Lord. We pray all these things in your Son's precious and holy name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Camper. That was an awesome devotion. It's good to be reminded that a servant attitude is the way to go. It's what will help you. Obviously we should do that as human nature. It's tough sometimes, but we should do that, and no better person to model after than Jesus Christ himself. So thank you for sharing with us, Camper, and taking your time. And it's kind of odd because I'm not feeling so great. Camper and I are 20 feet away in separate offices. We'd usually be sitting together for this call if he was doing the devotion. But I want to go ahead real quick and roll into our production report. This is for week 111 through 115. One Life produced $737,504.16 of submitted annual premium. Fantastic week. Top 10 agents for that week. Number 1, Landon Ramirez with $11,151.60 of submitted AP. Renee Ortega with $10,258 at number 2. Number 3, David Kiselak with $10,051. Number 4, Scott Shaddy out of Chicago with $8,719. Number 5, Jose Gonzalez with $8,330 of submitted AP. Number 6, Chris Lewis, $8,250. Number 7, Joseph Griffin with $7,894. Number 8, Russ Graham, $7,608 of submitted AP. And number 9, Benji Crooms, $7,526. And rounding out the top 10, Jason Lanier with $7,175 of submitted annual premium. Great job. And I want to touch on our top 5 elite groups from the team report. Number 1 was Life Management Group with $106,531. Number 2, Innovative Insurance Brokerage with $104,917. Number 3, United Senior Brokerage with $67,318. Number 4, the Health Group with $64,378. And number 5 is Insure with $49,281 of submitted annual premium. Great job to those teams for their efforts. And we had 8 groups, I believe, above the 40,000 mark. We had 8 groups above the 40,000 mark, so great job on the home front for production, agent-wise and team-wise. Want to also make mention that 1 week is all that separates us from the New Agent Academy. I started off the call. You see, it's important to us to build those relationships and to have people involved and connected with us, whether you're a new agent starting your career with One Life or in general in the insurance industry, or you're one of our leaders. We encourage you to be here for the Academy or the Leadership Summit. And that starts next Monday, 1 week from today, February the 1st to the 3rd. And the Academy will be a full introduction of our executive staff and more quality final expense sales and product training than you will ever expect. The Leadership Workshop, just to highlight who's going to be here, it will be headlined by former college football coach Norman Joseph and Jimmy Guilford. Coach Norman has been the head coach at Belhaven, Louisiana College, and Mississippi College, and on the coaching staff at Vanderbilt, Southern Mississippi, and many other D1 colleges. Jimmy Guilford serves on the Fellowship of Christian Athletes staff at Mississippi State University. He is also completing the master's program and serves as the basketball and tennis programs, their strength coach, strength and conditioning coach. So he's a stellar guy. We got a chance to meet him here a few months back. Keith Little, one of our partners with Life Management, will be here, and he'll close out our leadership session as he brings insight into cultivation of new agents, as growing your sales team is a very important step of financial freedom. Make sure you tap into all of our social media outlets, whether it be our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn account, obviously by getting your staff, your agents keyed in by joining our text message communication group. They can text OLA, lowercase or uppercase, doesn't matter, to the phone number 51660, and the subject should be OLA. Then they'll join the text message communication group and get a one weekly reminder of this conference call at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. So we don't blow you up, but we do get an opportunity to get it out there for you. Very glad to have our featured speakers, Mr. Tony Pomarico and Mike Sirpilla, with us this morning. Tony is the Chief Operations Officer and President, while Mike is the CEO of American Legacy Insurance Group. Tony graduated from Providence College with a BS in Business Administration. He started in the insurance business in 2010, writing $89,000 of issued and paid premium in his first 3.5 months. He issued and paid $278,000 his first full year in the business and was promoted to a manager at the age of 25. Tony has been married for 4 years and has a daughter who's almost 2 years old. Mike got in the insurance business at the age of 22 and wrote over $10,000 his first week. At age 24, he was promoted to manager, where he grew a 12-person agency that produced anywhere from $225,000 to $250,000 of submitted monthly premium. He has created a mentor guide to train other agents and top producers. Mike went to music school in Los Angeles, California, and was a captain of his football team and first team All-District, All-State, and All-Country. He married his wife, Jordan, 3.5 years ago and has a 5-month-old son, Roman. These guys have made a fast-paced start to their career with One Life America, and they have a great line of communication with their agents and managers. And we're very excited to have them share with you this morning. I've had a chance to be around these gentlemen, and they're just stellar guys, and their team is on fire, and they're going to give you some pointers about the communication. Mike and Tony, are you guys with us this morning?
I'm on. Thank you, Dave, for having us.
Fantastic. We got 2 gentlemen in 2 different areas, so I know you guys are going to kind of separation talk, but, man, I'm glad to have you guys on the phone, and I'm going to turn it over to both of you guys, and we're looking forward to your session.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, David, and I just want to say what an honor it is to be on this call. I do want to make one correction. I actually wasn't all-country. I was all-county, so in case there are people at One Life thinking that I'm like this all-world football player, I was all-county, not all-country, but I wanted to make that distinction. But thank you so much for having us on the call. When we had joined One Life, really what Tony and I were looking for is we were looking for somebody to give us a contract and leads. We've had some bad experiences before. Maybe there's some people that can relate to this with IMOs. So our perception of an IMO was a little bit tainted maybe, and I'm sure a lot of people on this call can relate to that. So what we wanted was leads and contracts, but what One Life has delivered to us is so much more than that. And I know that people who have been with One Life for a while know what I'm talking about, but it's one of those things that gets you a little bit emotional because they over-deliver on everything that they promised you, which is, rare in not only this industry, but really any industry. And Scott and Scotty, every single thing that they had talked with us about, talked with our agents about, they've delivered on. They are people of integrity. And if you're listening in and if you're not already on One Life's team, if you're a new recruit looking to become a part of One Life, I promise you, coming from somebody who's done nothing but final expense for almost 6 years, there is no better agency to be a part of. So you just got to realize that right now. So thank you guys so much for, number one, choosing to partner with American Legacy, and number two, having us on this call. Tony, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank you guys for, everything you've done for us. You've been spectacular. You've been on top of everything. One of the promises they always make is they're going to work hard for you and they're going to be honest. And they mean both of those things. They work incredibly hard. Mike and I came from a different IMO where the communication was really pretty closed down. We were pretty disconnected. We didn't get any sort of favors. And the communication here at One Life has been awesome. They get things done very quickly. The email communications are quickly. The office staff is awesome. So just thank you guys for helping us to grow, and really thank you for believing in us and, giving us a great opportunity. We're extremely thankful for it.
Absolutely. So in regards to GroupMe, Tony and I we focus a lot on culture with American Legacy. I mean, I think that really selling is something, selling final expense, the mechanics of it really aren't that difficult. The rates never go up, coverage never decreases, policy will never cancel on the client. It's not very difficult to understand the mechanics of it. But getting a good company culture is really what American Legacy is all about, and that's ultimately what GroupMe really helps with as well. So what is GroupMe? GroupMe is essentially an application that you can download on your smartphone. And essentially what it is, it's almost like a chat room for people to connect, post their numbers for the day or for the week, and just really get to know each other a little bit better. The difference between GroupMe and just simply a text message, like a group text message, is it's not blowing up your phone, your text messaging thing where you're getting 10, 15, 20 text messages. If you guys have been on like a chain text message before, it can kind of get a little bit of annoying. The nice thing with GroupMe is every single message goes through the application that you download for your smartphone. So you download the app, all the messages from all the agents go to the GroupMe application on your phone. You could also mute that. Like let's say that you don't want it going off all the time. You could actually mute it, so only when you click on that application is when you can see all the messages from all your agents. So that's essentially what GroupMe is. Tony, do you have any thoughts or comments on, I guess, what GroupMe is?
No, that's a really good description.
Okay, good stuff. So the next thing is, why would an agency want to use it? And also, why would an agent want to use it? The great reason why agencies want to use it, again, it builds company culture. Agents can ask questions. You can track agents' production. You can give recognition and praise out to agents, build friendships, and it really makes people feel like they're not alone while they're out in the field, which is a huge thing. To give you guys an example of Tony and my agency, we had like over 200 GroupMe messages just simply last Tuesday. And the reason why I tracked last Tuesday, for whatever the reason I decided to count them that day, 200 messages. And, people love this GroupMe. And, somebody can post a sale and we can recognize our agents for a job well done. We can track their production. And, our agency does do a PPL system similar to One Life's. So, we can track PPL and things like that. But the biggest thing that GroupMe does is build that culture and that camaraderie. And we have people at One Life that are a part of GroupMe, and I mean, they've added a lot of value, but they understand that our agents are really, really, excited to post on GroupMe. So the next thing here in regards to this is, how do you effectively use GroupMe, and how do you get your agents to start using GroupMe? The first thing is you've got to lead from the front. If you're going to do anything, as an agency manager or an IMO or whatever you are, you need to lead from the front. And the first thing that I do on GroupMe is I make sure that I post every single sale that I make onto GroupMe. I want to make sure that my agents are following my lead. So I'm not going to ever ask my agents to do anything that I'm not doing. So that's the first thing, is I'm posting every single sale. $600 Forester sale, American Amicable sale for $1,022. Whatever sale I make, I'm posting every single one. I'm encouraging other people to join as well. So whenever American Legacy brings a new agent onto our agency, we want to make sure that we say, listen, you've got to get on GroupMe. It's really where you're going to find a lot of learning and everything else. You're going to build a lot of camaraderie. You're going to be able to post your sales and let agents know what's expected from them. I mean, in our agency, we give our agents free leads, so we expect something in return. When you're not, giving somebody a free lead, maybe you can't expect that return because they're buying their own leads or something. I'm paying for my agents' leads. Tony and I work very hard for the money that we earn, and we want to make sure that our agents are really tapping into everything that American Legacy has available for them. So every single new agent that we have come on board, we make sure that we're letting them know, that you're expected to get on this. And sometimes I'll even invite them on GroupMe, maybe even before they downloaded the application. I let them know you got to download the application. And I do that just to make sure that they, understand, listen, if you don't download that application, your text messages are going to start blowing up. So we need that application downloaded. And, kind of puts that sense of urgency on the agent a little bit, just to make sure that they, download the app and get things situated there. So the other thing is if you notice somebody is not posting on GroupMe, and if somebody made their very first sale, we actually had an agent make his very first sale last week, and it was like $1,700 of AP. And like the first question that I asked him, like, congratulations, that's awesome. Have you posted it on GroupMe yet? And he said, I haven't downloaded the application yet, which is absolutely fine. I mean, he's a new agent and things, and I understood that. But, I made sure that he downloaded the application so, he can get connected into that as well. He posted it. Everybody welcomed this agent in. And that's another very important thing, is make sure that when somebody comes in, they feel welcome. Whenever I add a new person into GroupMe, I make sure that I say welcome to this agent, whatever the agent's name is, and other agents will say welcome as well. They feel welcome, and then they're going to communicate through GroupMe as well because they feel connected there. So, Tony, that's really everything that I have. David, I'm not sure how much time we have, but I'm going to turn it over to Tony real quick, see if he has any thoughts or comments.
Yeah, just real quick, a couple other things that we use it for more recently really is posting appointments that we've made. So, people make phone calls on Sunday, Monday. They go on there and say, hey, I'm at 3 appointments for tomorrow, 2 for the next day, or I'm at 12 or whatever they're at. So it's a nice way to kind of build some friendly, competition there, how many appointments you can set. And also it's a really nice way, to post motivational quotes. I know we have a few agents that go on there and they post pictures and, different things, and just it's really a nice way to kind of stay motivated, stay positive. So GroupMe's really been pretty transformative for us. Like Mike said, it helps keep the lines of communication open with all of our agents. We share sales, we keep each other motivated, energized. We're sharing carrier tips, ideas, height, weight charts, things like that. Hey, I had this person get declined for this. Where can I put them? Stuff like that. It's a nice way to grow as a team. It is a lot of fun. It's really easy to use. So if you're not really a tech-savvy person, fear not, you can pick it up very, very easily. So that's what I got there. I know it's 12 o'clock, David, so I don't know if it's time for us to wrap up or not.
David, are you there?
Sorry, I pulled the old, I was still on mute thing. My fault. Guys, I was going to say, if you guys got a couple more statements you need to remark on, we got plenty of time. Or if you're done, we'll open the lines up for question and answers.
Good stuff. Well, there's just a few things that I wanted to touch on real quick. And like I had said earlier in the call, GroupMe is great. And you guys, by the way, are going to get the best training that you possibly can get in this industry with One Life. But like I said, the mechanics are the easy part of the business. Final expense is a meat and potatoes kind of business. It's not incredibly difficult to understand how to sell final expense insurance. But the difference between knowing how to do it and actually doing it, there's sometimes a very big margin for some agents. And one thing that I realized, and there's just 5 points that are going to kind of guarantee your success with One Life America. But most people focus on the results, okay? And this is a little bit of a motivational topic, but most people focus on the result that they want to get for the year. I want to make $100,000. I want to make $70,000. I want to submit $250,000 of annual premium. I want to build a big agency. They focus on that result, but how do you ultimately get that result? Obviously, you've got to take massive action. Tony and I are working harder today than we ever have before. And last week, our agency had our biggest week that we ever had. We submitted a little bit over $35,000 of annual premium. So obviously, it's common sense to realize that your result comes from how much action you're actually taking. So you need to make sure that you're taking a lot of action. But where does that action come from? Why do some people take a lot of action and some people don't? It's created by your thought life. If you call on a lead, and if you don't think that you're going to sell that lead, if you think that this opportunity with One Life is going to be like every other opportunity you've experienced, I promise you're not going to take the massive action that all those people that David had just read out on the leaderboard take. You're not going to take that action. So you've got to control that thought life. You've got to make sure that you're really believing in the system, believing in One Life, believing in yourself. So that's a huge thing there, and I think that most people focus on that result, but they don't take the action because they're not focused on the right thoughts throughout the entire week. We have 30,000 thoughts that go through our head each and every single day. Okay, now we have a subconscious mind, we have a conscious mind. Our subconscious mind is literally 1 million times more powerful than our conscious mind. So it's almost like a flea trying to guide an elephant where to go. I mean, the flea could try to guide an elephant where to go, but ultimately that elephant's going to go wherever it wants to go. So you need to make sure that you're captivating not just the conscious mind, but also the subconscious mind. But how do you do that? That ultimately comes from your input, what you're putting into your mind every single day. Conference calls like this, audios, John Maxwell, Tony Robbins, great pastors that you guys know of. You've got to make sure that you're putting the right stuff into your mind each and every day. Now, your mind is a lot like a glass. It'll literally hold whatever you put in it. So if you pour dirty water in that glass, what's it going to hold? It's going to hold that dirty water. But if you pour clean water into that glass, it's going to hold clean water. So that's ultimately what I've found, and I know that Tony's found, to have success in this business. It's the mechanics. You need to know the mechanics, but you need to be able to have the right thought life. You need to make sure that you're putting in the right input every day. So I tried to kind of rush this information. For time's sake, I wanted to honor One Life's conference call time, the time limits there, but that's everything that I have. Thanks so much, guys, for allowing us to speak. Tony, do you have any last final thoughts or comments before we turn it over to David?
No, just an absolute honor to be on the call. Thank you for having us, David. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike and Tony. Just so you guys know, y'all are all country in my eyes. Now, in football, Mike, you might have been all county, but you guys are above and beyond, and your communication level is amazing. We're going to take just a couple of minutes, and I'm going to set the setting on everyone's lines where you can answer a question if you'd like. I have unmuted Mike and Tony's line, and if you have a question and you'd like to ask, you can fire away by hitting *6. We'll give it a few seconds to see if anyone has a question. Guys, I've been a part of GroupMe for a couple other things outside of the insurance business, but I think we have somebody who actually has their line unmuted. Tyler Jackson, you with us?
Yes, sir, I am. Hey, guys. My name's Tyler. I'm with Life Management Group. It's more or less a comment than a question in that, this business is a relationship business. And, with guys traveling everywhere and everything else, what y'all are hearing today about this application, which we've actually applied to our agency as well, is gold. I mean, it really works as far as, keeping motivation. You can never have too much motivation, It's kind of like Zig Ziglar said, motivate. You got to motivate yourself daily. You got to bathe yourself daily. So, in doing that, kind of out of context. But, as far as having relationships and those types of things, like you said, it's a meat and potatoes business. I completely agree with everything that y'all said today. I just believe that, everybody that's listening to this call, download that app. Something as simple as sending a text, sending a message through an application can make a difference. And, a lot of us try to look at the big picture, but if you just kind of slow down and look at those simple things that can improve your agency, it's definitely going to work out in the end. So I just wanted to commend you all on, going over that type of thing, and just wanted to – I agree with everything you're saying. So appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that comment.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you having that. I'll tell you this, and I don't see anyone else with their line unmuted, so I want to make a couple of statements real quick. In focusing on this GroupMe application, like I mentioned, I'd used it before for some other things. However, these guys, I'm honored to be a part of Mike and Tony's GroupMe, as well as Frank Sayer's GroupMe board, and it's inspirational to see the level of activity that's going on. When it's late in the evening on a Saturday, I know I've got some work to do, and I'm trying to get up for the task. I see everybody else out there hustling, knocking doors, leaving delivery notice stickers, writing applications, setting appointments, and I get involved. I get excited, and it gives me that extra second wind, if you will. So it's important to see that activity and know that I'm not by myself. And I think that's what everyone on the GroupMe board sees is everybody else is out there doing it too, so I need to get busy. And I think Mike, I don't know if Mike or Tony, one of you mentioned leading from the front. You absolutely have to do that. And on both of those message boards, I see Mike and Tony out there, giving pats on the back. And even while we've been on this call, I've seen Tony, saying great job, somebody out writing an application or knocking a door. I haven't had a chance to really check into it, see exactly what it was, but I will here shortly, because that's the kind of excitement. It doesn't take away from your time. It adds to it, because it's going to give you extra inspiration, and you're going to stay connected to everyone involved, because if there's a few miles in between you, this is a great way to feel like you're talking to them on a daily basis. Guys, I don't see anyone else's line opened up. I'm going to thank you once again for being on our call today and taking time out of your schedule. I know y'all had 2 or 3 conference calls already this morning, but thanks a lot for being on our call. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And Mike mentioned John C. Maxwell. So I've got a quote from John C. Maxwell. It's very direct and to the point. And if you have goals in 2016 for production and growth, then this is a daily motivational statement that you need to write on the front of your book or back of your cell phone or wherever it takes. But John C. Maxwell said, dreams don't work unless you do. Very simple. Dreams don't work unless you do. You can have all the dreams in the world, the biggest dream in the world, but if you're not willing to put the wheels underneath it, then you're going nowhere. So thank you, everybody. Thanks again, Mike and Tony and Camford, for joining us for the conference call this morning. Everyone have a great day, very productive week, and hope to see you all at the Academy or Leadership Summit. Goodbye.